What's going on, internet? It is your boy Eric BANDHOLZ back again with another awesome episode from Beardbrand, and today I'm going to give you the best 6 hairstyles when your hair starts thinning. Alright, believe it or not, August is Hair Loss Awareness Month. Yes, they have a month for everything. And to support those who are currently dealing with thinning hair, I figured let's do a video on what are the best hairstyles you got while you still got a little bit up there. Now, as you've seen in a previous video, the number one mistake you can make when dealing with hair loss is just shaving it all off. So if you're not going to shave it off, you got to follow up with some really cool hairstyles. And you want to break up your style or your style inspiration into the type of thinning you're dealing with. Generally speaking, you're going to be losing your hair in kind of 3 different ways. From your crown, kind of back, from your temples, going back, and then just like kind of like a thinning across the board up top. So with that, I want to break it up into the 2 best styles for each category. Now, I would say the receding temples is probably the most common type of hair loss out there. I see a lot of guys have it. It's almost like a blend between a maturing hairline, which is just the natural state of getting older, and male pattern baldness. With receding temples, I want to tell you it's okay to show off those temples because it is such a common hair loss pattern. It's really not unnormal. It's nothing you need to hide or disguise. And in fact, you might actually want to play up to that. And my number one recommendation is the side part. Now, with the side part haircut, what you can do is really like a million different ways of variations of that side part. And you can see that Jeff Juan Cristiano is rocking this side part phenomenally. He's really killing it. And then the other alternative is going to be a more natural side part. So the hair isn't using like a oil-based pomade. It's using maybe like a matte fiber, and then it's blow dried into shape, and it has kind of like a more natural look to it. And you see John Hamm right here is pulling off that look tremendously. The other popular style for receding hairlines that I saw is the messy crew cut. And a crew cut's just going to be a shorter hairstyle. So you're going, maybe no longer than an inch or a couple of centimeters of length. And then rather than like a structured look of like a part, you're dealing with a little bit of a messy look. But everything's kept short and tight so that it's not something that's really going to go wild. 2 guys that rock this style and really make it look good are Bryan Cranston. You know him as Walter White when he was wearing the shaved head and the goatee, but I think typically he's normally wearing this messy hairstyle. And then also Michael Fassbender. For those who are not familiar with Michael, he was Magneto in the X-Men, and he's got like a nice real chiseled face, and the messy hair looks great on him. Now, the thinning crown style is something that I currently deal with, and it's probably one that's a little bit harder to look at on the internet, because when you look at someone face forward, it looks like I've got a full head of hair, and it's not until you kind of look down at an angle. But you can get away with a lot of different hairstyles with this. What I've found from my own preference is really like 2 kind of styles. One where the hair is shorter on the crown and it kind of gets longer towards the front. And a hairstyle like that would be a quiff. So you kind of have it short here, and then you blow dry it forward, and then you blow dry it up. That's going to bring a lot of the attention to the front of the face. And then the other option is going a little bit longer at the front and bringing it backwards. And that's what I currently have now, is longer hair, and kind of bring it back to the point of the crown. So this is going to be like your pompadour or a side parted pompadour, or just like a slick back hairstyle. But as long as you're kind of like cutting it to that point, you're able to almost do like I'd say like a modern comb over, for lack of better words, but I don't really think it's a comb over. Now, the third way that a lot of guys are thinning is just kind of like across the board on the top. I think one guy who's dealing with thinning that way and not rocking a very good hairstyle is Prince William, where he's got like this big bushy part here. It's definitely thinning up here, and he's kind of doing like this comb over type of deal. I don't really know what his stylist is telling him, but that's probably the direction you don't want to go. Where you do want to go are some like key iconic actors, and I'm talking Jason Statham and I'm talking Bruce Willis. And what they're doing is the very short stubble hairstyle. And I think it's like, depending on the severity of your hair loss, like where you go short there, that's where you want to do it. So if you do ever have a tendency to want to take it all the way down, it's when you're dealing with pretty significant thinning up on the crown. But don't worry, if you still want to keep your hair, there's another style that gives you a little more flexibility. And I would probably call this one like the longer messy crew cut, or the longer side part, or I'd say like the longer natural part. And it's a style that's worn by Ian Glenn. He is Jorah Mormont in Game of Thrones. He's the guy with the grayscale. And what you'll see here is it's definitely thinning across the board, but he's keeping a little bit of length on the side and a little bit of length on the top and bringing it backwards, having a slight part on it. And it still shows a little bit of dimension to your head. And you pull it off with like that scruff, kind of like Western look, that little crow's nest in the eyes. And maybe it's a style that's going to be a little bit better as you age. But a guy with a younger looking face who's also pulling it off well is Will Arnett. And you'll see that his hairline does go pretty far back. And it is, I would say, probably a little bit thicker on the crown and on the top for Will. But his hairline does go pretty far back, and it is kind of small. It's kind of like a Jude Law hairstyle as well that they're pairing together, but just with a little more structure of that part. So let me know in the comments, what are your favorite hairstyles? For all those guys out there who are currently dealing with hair loss, what are you doing for your hair? Any recommendations out there that I missed or I overlooked? All right, guys, it is now that time to thank our sponsors, Rogaine, for helping make this video possible, because frankly, without them, there would have been no video. Now, I love Rogaine. I think it's a product that works. In fact, it's been scientifically proven to work. And what it's going to do is help slow down your hair loss, or in some cases even help you grow back the hair that you've lost. And the thing that I love most about Rogaine is this beautiful foam. This foam it just almost like evaporates off the top of your head, and it doesn't feel like there's anything on your head. There's no product on your head. It's lightweight. There's no grease, there's no oil, there's no residue, and it works brilliantly with any kind of styling products you need to get the looks that we talked about. You're taking control of your situation, and it's like brushing your teeth. You don't get a cavity and give up and say, all right, the teeth are going. What you do is you take action, you brush your teeth, you floss, you go to the dentist. The same thing happens with hair loss. You grab Rogaine, you use it in your head, and you take control of your situation. So big thank you to Rogaine for helping make this video possible, and a big thank you to Rogaine for sponsoring this community. As always, thanks for watching. Cheers. Keep on growing. Now that you've made it to the end of the video, go ahead and treat yourself to some fine Beardbrand products over on our shop. If you're not already a subscriber, be sure to do that. And finally, keep on watching some more of our awesome videos.